Hi, I'm Kendra Marsh. I'm the Executive Director at St. Anthony's Hospice. So I've been asked what brought me to St. Anthony's Hospice. I've been working with St. Anthony's since August the 4th, 2011. But before that, I actually had the honor of serving on the board of directors. From what I understand, they needed somebody from Webster County to represent St. Anthony's Hospice, and they also wanted somebody that um, would help with some marketing. And so, in a past life, I was a pharmaceutical rep for Novartis. I did that for about 12 years. And that was the reason they invited me to serve on the board of directors because we needed a member on the board that could help with marketing, specifically helping educate our local providers, physicians, nurse practitioners, nurses about how hospice could help, our community. And so I started in the capacity of being a member of our board of directors for several years. And I can just remember coming to our board meetings and thinking, this is something I really want to be a part of. This is cool. This is a way that we can make some real and sustainable changes in our community because we at St. Anthony's Hospice, our team was out working in the trenches every single day, changing the way that people lived right before they died. And at the time, Mark Chumbler was the executive director. And he kept on saying every time I came to a board meeting, if you ever want to be a member of the team, you just let me know. And so my husband and I both worked for the same pharmaceutical company. And that was back, in 08, 09, when the pharmaceutical bubble had kind of burst. And so we had made the decision that one of us needed to get out of that industry because all of our eggs were in one basket. Um, and so I said yes. I told Mark that I would come to work for St. Anthony's, and I started as it was called the physician liaison. And so my job was to go to our local providers and help them have a better understanding of how hospice could help them as they're providing care to our local individuals in our community. So on August the 4th, 2011, I started working here at St. Anthony's Hospice. It was my first day. I'll never forget it. And I remember coming into the front, and there were a couple of people that I had known just from serving on the board, and it was really nice. I just felt like I was home for the first time. Um, and so we went to work. We had some things to do. Our goals when I started working at St. Anthony's was to really help our community understand how hospice could help. And we had a goal of increasing our census because we're a certificate of need, and the more individuals that we can serve at the end of life, the better that St. Anthony's Hospice does. And so I started going and providing education to our local providers and working with the marketing people. And we actually ended up getting our census to a level that we had never gotten our census to before. And it came easily, selling the idea or marketing the idea of hospice because it's just it's a good thing for our community. We're able to help people live until they die, live a good high quality of life until the time comes when they die. And then when they do die, it's easy to help them die gently, which is such an honor to be able to lead them through that journey. I tell people all the time, I feel like that day when I started working at hospice that I came home. And I know that sounds a little bit cheesy, but I was kind of looking for something to fill my heart, my soul, my spirit up. And it's like I got to this office on South Green Street, and I was like, yeah, this is exactly what I needed. And so I started working with the team here, and we developed some tools for our local physicians. When Mark left St. Anthony's Hospice, we were left without an executive director, and it was a Friday. I don't know why I remember this so clearly, but I was working at a senior citizens fair in Morganfield, and Jack Hogan, who was the chair of our board at that point, called and asked if I would serve as interim until they found an executive director. And of course, I said yes. Not ever knowing when I was small that hospice would be something that I would ever do. It never even occurred to me that I would work for St. Anthony's or really be the director. It just kind of came. I think God had a lot of things to do with it. I think that I was looking and kind of searching for something that filled me up. And so I said yes, terrified. I mean, just terrified the entire time, thinking, what have they, are you sure you want me to be the executive director, the interim executive director? And so in July of 2013, the board offered me the full-time position, and I've been doing this ever since. It's hard to believe that I've been serving as director for as long as I have. It only feels like a couple of years. I said it was July of 2013, and it literally feels like yesterday that we've been doing what we've been doing. But I think the thing that keeps me at St. Anthony's and the thing that makes me so fulfilled with this job are the people that I get to work with every single day. They truly teach me, how to be the best version of myself when I come into this office or the Lucy Smith King Care Center or go to Webster or Union County. I get to work with the most intelligent people, most compassionate people, most giving people. And at the end of the day, the decisions that we're making truly are based on what's the best for that individual and the family that we're serving. And that makes me, when I drive home at the end of the day, that makes me truly grateful to be able to work with an organization like this, because in the end, we are making a difference both for the individuals that are dying, but perhaps as important to the families that are surrounding that loved one. It's really important to, I think, process that grief appropriately. I I don't tell this story very often, but my dad passed away when I was a senior at Murray State University, so I was young, really, really young, and we never had the opportunity to anticipate his death. He had lung cancer. The prognosis for lung cancer is low. The he was diagnosed in November and passed away the next August, and so for a young girl, that was very startling to me. And so I wish with Dad that we had have had, a St. Anthony's Hospice to help me and my family understand what type of journey we were about to go through, because I really, his death surprised me, and looking back, it shouldn't have, because everything was there. But nobody really had the courage to have the conversation with me that my dad was dying and I needed to say the things that we needed to say each other before he passed away. So that's Dad. I think about my dad a lot while we're doing this job, because everybody's got that dad in their life and everybody's going to lose a loved one. And it's really important how we process that and how we live after the death of a loved one. I think one of the things that I'm most grateful about with St. Anthony's Hospice are the people that I have become friends with during this journey, from our team, to patients and families. What comes to the top of my head right now are some of our volunteers and board members that I've been able to have relationships with, people like Jerry Manning from Morganfield and Gary Bell and Ida. When I first assumed the position that I'm serving right now, Gary Bell and I would have breakfast probably one time a month, and there would be days that I was feeling a little overwhelmed, and he would say, how to eat an elephant, kiddo? He'd say one bite at a time, and if it weren't for hospice, St. Anthony's Hospice, I wouldn't have ever gotten a chance to become friends with somebody like Gary Bell. So I consider that one of the better blessings in my life. So a common misconception that people have about hospice is that when, a loved one is enrolled into hospice services, that we come in and take the care away. And that could just be nothing further from the truth. We don't decelerate the care, we actually accelerate the care. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the care plan changes. So our goal is no longer treatment of that primary diagnosis, but it's more comfort and quality of life about the pain and symptoms around that primary diagnosis. So everything that our team is doing for that patient is about quality of life, comfort, and the goal of doing it where they want to be in their home, surrounded by the people that they want to be with, their family, their loved ones, their church, their social circles, so that they're able to have a quality of life on their terms as they're nearing the end of their life. And I think that's really important for us to understand is that, like, someone coming into this world, everyone is going to leave this world, you know? And so our goal is to make sure that they're as comfortable as possible and that they have all the resources they need to make that happen.